All right. Welcome into the latest edition of a little podcast that we like to call the Players Club. We kicked it off a couple weeks back with Dr. J, Julius Irving. Last week, we got the whole Ball Hogs team together. And this week, we are graced once again by one of the game's legends, Mr. George Gervin.
Okay.
Hall of Famer, 12-time All-Star, 9-time All-NBA, ABA, 26,000 career points, four scoring titles.
If we have to do all of his accolades, the show is going to be over. It'll take a half an hour.
Right, you're not gonna
Just making sure I didn't miss anything.
I mean, seriously.
Because, both of your guys' resumes read like a who's who of like NBA record books.
But I think, I don't know. What do you come to player? I think it should be the pig pen.
What's the podcast?
Yeah, it should be the pig pen. Come on, this is the Ball Hogs. This is the pig pen.
It is. Sponsored by the Ball Hogs and Krause House.
It's okay. You can call it the Players Club, a.k.a. Pig
The
Pen.
pig pen.
There we go.
Okay, there we go.
So, all right, here, let's get some water around here. This is that good.
Thank you.
That good canned water.
God, thank you.
Not the crap you get out of the tap.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Man. Hey, I ain't
Not
mad
the
at
tap
that.
crap.
Listen, we appreciate George doing this. We've done
Not
a
the
lot of
tap
things.
crap.
We've fished a bunch of times together, and George is a fisherman as well. In fact, he was trying to do a fishing show. I went down and did the pilot for it, and it was kind of fun.
Really?
Except we didn't have the greatest weather, and there wasn't a lot of fish biting at the time. But it is what it is.
Fishing is fishing. You know?
Well, that's why it's
Fish.
called fishing.
That's
See, I like it when it's
100% right.
I like catching. I don't like.
And
I
see,
like
Rick in the catch and release. So I'm in the catch and eat.
What's your favorite type of fish to catch?
A speckled trout.
Well,
Speckled-
I've
wow,
never
you had
heard of
that
that
answer
in my
ready.
life.
Oh man, that is one of the greatest tasting fish that you can.
If you had snook,
No, I had snook.
well, then
cat.
if you had snook, you would.
See, I ain't had snook.
Snook would just go, hey, speckled trout, it's above that.
Oh wow!
Trust me. Just ask Clifford Ray.
I got to try snook.
and get Clifford to cook it for you.
Oh no!
yeah.
See, they don't know nothing about Clifford.
I've got to meet this Clifford Ray because over the past 3 years now, since I've known Rick, I've just heard nothing but great things about Clifford
beautiful
Ray.
brother.
He's
man.
one of the best ever. He's like a brother. I mean, we're like brothers, really. I mean, I'm talking about like brothers from the same mother and father, but we're not. But we're like brothers. And we do a lot together, and he's an unbelievably great fisherman.
Yeah, and great person.
And a great person, but a great cook too.
Yeah.
In fact, my son Canyon, when he was younger, and Clifford and I was assistant with me coaching. So I said, Dad, Uncle Clifford can really cook. They call him Uncle Clifford. He calls him Uncle Clifford.
That's awesome.
So it's really kind of cool. But listen, okay, I know you got a million questions, and Joy, you got questions for ICE, and I'm going to let you guys get into it. But I got to talk about a few things because I actually did some research. And look, I found a few things that I had no idea about you. Actually, that it's really was interesting for me to see some things about you. Tell everybody the first team you played for.
Virginia Squire.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Okay, now you say first team. First team I played for was
I'm talking about
Martin
pros,
Luther King.
pros,
Oh, there you go.
Pros.
Detroit, Michigan,
Pros.
right?
You mean semi-pros?
You played there first.
Yes.
Go ahead, tell them.
I played Pontiac Chaparral.
Pontiac Chaparrals. There was a Dallas Chaparrals in the ABA, but I had no idea that you'd done that. And then, so he plays a little bit. You know, I can't believe that you went in the third round. This is a perfect example of how I'm telling you that a lot of NBA scouts wouldn't know talent if it walked up and bit him in the butt. This is a man became one of the greatest players in the history of the game. I mean, I'll tell you a real quick thing to say about him. I remember one game I was hurt. And I didn't get to play against them. They were playing in the Oakland Arena, okay? It was called the Oakland Arena back in those days. And I had to do everything I could to restrain myself from actually cheering for him. He was putting on such a freaking show. I go, God, George, what are you doing? But it was almost like I wanted to applaud for him. He was killing us. I mean, amazing, just an absolutely player. Third round, 40 or something. I mean, come on, seriously. I mean, it's kind of like Karl Malone didn't go in the top 10 when he got, I mean, yeah.
Usually it's guys
That's
like me
insane.
going in the third round. It's not guys like
I mean, come on.
George.
I mean, I guarantee you ask most fans to do something, you say, what do you think George Gervin was picked in the draft? There isn't anybody you say third round. Seriously. So what did you think about? You probably were happy, right?
I wanted to be a pro. So I don't care what round I came in. And obviously I knew I could play. So I just wanted a chance.
Right.
And once I got a chance, I started playing.
So for you, I know when it was for me, but I'd like to when did you actually feel that you were good enough to be able to play at the NBA level? When did that realization come to you? I know it's a dream. I had a dream of being a pro athlete, all that stuff, and I know when mine happened. Do you know there's a specific time you say, "Hey, I can do this"?
You know, I'm fortunate enough to, and when I played ABA basketball, is to team up with Dr. J, and having a teammate like him on my team, it really gave me some confidence. Cause me and Doc used to play one-on-one after practice all the time. I never get it, man. After we practiced, and Doc, I get ready to leave, and Doc say, "Hey, Rook, where you going?" I said, "Well, I'm going to go on. Get on, wash up, get out of here." He said, "Oh, no," and he'd throw me the ball and say, "You ain't through." So I credit him, for help building up my confidence and my self-esteem to where I felt that I belong. And that's when I knew I could play at the next level.
Right.
Who used to win those games?
He did. He was hard to beat. There's no secret to that, man. I was his rookie, man. So obviously I won a few because I could play too. Yeah. But he won most of the games, and I'm just proud to be his teammate, man.
Well, that's what it's like when you do stuff. I mean, the bottom line is that I'm sure you went out there. You didn't go out there figuring, well, I'm going to lose. You were out there trying to beat him, weren't you?
Ain't no question.
Do you remember the first time you beat him? How excited you were?
Oh, ain't no question. And then I wanted to beat him some more.
That's exactly right.
It was like a drug.
That's
right. Is that right? But that's a good question, Rick. It did, man. That kind of gave me that, confidence that I could play at the next level.
Yeah. Okay, so before they get into all their other questions, are the two other things I want to get into that I didn't realize. So what was it like, to people who don't understand, after his career was over in the NBA, he actually went and played overseas.
I did.
Right, and so he had two different times you played. You played in Italy,
and
then you played later on, a year after, you came back and did something in the minor leagues again, but you went back and played over in Spain. What were those experiences like?
Great.
For you?
When I finished here in the NBA, I had an opportunity to go play in Spain. So, I played against McAdoo. And so me and McAdoo probably was the two top former NBA players playing overseas.
Was it Spain first or Rome?
No, it was Rome first.
Rome first, right?
It was Rome first, and Mac was in Milan. And D'Antoni was his teammate. And they won it. They had a good basketball team. I played with Mike Bannum. Mike Bannum was on my team. I took Larry Wright's place. And when Larry Wright, obviously left the Washington, the Bullets. So for me, playing over there, it really was a great experience for me. My kids, came with me, obviously my family. They went to international school, so they got that exposure. And then I left there and I played in Spain for a year, and then, my turn was over.
How was the transition for you?
It was great. Obviously I couldn't speak Italian, but, my kids going to, overseas school, they was able to pick up the language quite quickly, and I couldn't go anywhere without taking one of them just to be able to communicate. But the experience was good for me and my family, and I treasure that opportunity to go and be a part of another culture for a short period of time.
Well, his career is over in the NBA, but he still went over there in both places, averaged 25 points a game.
Oh, of course.
Nowadays, when those guys go over, like in crazy in China, it was nuts. Like Jimmy Fredette is playing on the Olympic team with my son Canyon, right, representing the country. But when he played over in China, these guys take 40 shots a game. It's like crazy. They wanted to score 50 points a game over there. It's nuts. So you had a team that actually played team basketball, right?
Yeah, no, we played. I had a good basketball team. But things got to work out for you to win it all. And, I thought we was capable of winning it all, but McAdoo had a good basketball team too, and he was still kind of, playing with that confidence, man. Because you got to know who he was to know how great he was. I still don't think he get enough credit for his abilities and what he was able to do in both leagues.
One of the great mid-range shooters for a guy his size.
For his
ever.
size,
yeah.
So a lot of us get lost in translation is because of the narrative that they push in the day. And it's unfortunate, but guys like us that played against one another, we always compliment and let the the fans know that there was somebody that was just as good as the guys playing today.
If not better.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, it's their turn. We had our turn, and
Well, I'm curious. And actually, it's a little hot in here. 1 second. Before we ask
What
my
has he
next
got?
question
Okay, here we go. He loves to do
it's
this.
just a little
He
hot in
just
here.
loves to do this.
I gotta take this off. Get a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, this is way better now.
Yeah, and of course he's going to ask you to sign it when this is over.
Absolutely. I got a Sharpie on deck. But
but that was a great uniform,
I like the
man.
looks
I
of
tell
this.
you, man, it was, man.
This
That
looks
was a
pretty
great
clean.
uniform, man.
1977, 78 official George Gervin
Yeah.
Michelin S.
That's cool. But let's tell me, I know you had a lot of major disappointments that you came so close with some of those really great San Antonio Spurs teams back in those days. What was it like for you to come up a little bit short with them?
Well, I mean, it's sad. I mean, because you think you come back to this area in Baltimore here, Baltimore Bullets.
I played against Gus Johnson and
I
Baltimore
played against
Bullets
Al
in the old
Hayes,
days.
Wes Unseld, Bobby
Legends.
Danbridge. Now, we made history backwards because we was up 3-1 on them.
Right.
And they came back and won and beat us.
The old Doc Rivers.
Hey, we were that close to being in the finals. So, obviously that was real sad for me. And then, we played the Lakers out of the West. See, I played in the East and the West. So we couldn't get out of the West because, Magic and Kareem.
Yeah, 2 years in a row they did that too.
They
right?
beat us. I mean, we just couldn't get out. So I fell short as far as winning a championship, and it's unfortunate. It ain't like I didn't try. They just played better than us, and people always talk about that narrative that if you didn't win a championship, you didn't have a
George,
great
you're
career.
hitting a button for me, baby. I mean, I talk about this all the time. When they start doing the rankings of players and do stuff, they give extra credit to guys who are on more championship teams. Hey, it's not about, you don't win by yourself.
Yeah.
If you're not lucky enough to have teammates who play well enough, you're not going to win
No, you're not.
championships. And so to give extra credit for a guy who's lucky enough to have been on teams that had great other players, I think that's insane that they do that. It really is. But that's
that's the way it is, and that's the narrative that they push. And I for a guy like me that had the kind of career that I had, I don't care what they say. I mean, I'm real confident that I had a fairly good career, man.
Oh, yeah,
And,
okay. A
Never
fairly
take that
good career.
that
Yeah,
away
okay.
from you.
humility is everything. I mean, so I appreciate the opportunity. I mean, to be able to be a ABA, NBA Hall of Famer.
Legend.
Yeah. I mean, I love it, man. I mean,
Me too. Didn't you love the? What is this? What do you feel? What do you feel about this? They try the players today, and they have load management. Are you? I mean,
it just breaks my heart,
George,
man.
when I was there, I used to be upset when we were blowing somebody out because I wouldn't get to play as much.
I was mad that in preseason they wouldn't play me. They'll play you half the game.
They don't make them like that anymore.
Man, coach, he said, man, well, I already know what you can do. I want to see what these guys can do. But we were in love with the game. You know how people say they love the game? We were in love with the game. When you in love with something, you do all you can to be the best you can be. And I think that would separate us, from yesterday to the day.
So when it comes to, like the current state of the Spurs, and not even just like the current state, but just like the past few decades of the Spurs, you got guys like Kawhi. Like I know you mentioned like load management, how, and we all kind of know like he's like the face of load management in a way. And then just like in general, like how like the I guess like how the Spurs are like in today's game. So like I guess it's like a loaded question. The first question is, what were your thoughts like when he kind of became the face of load management, considering, he was on the Spurs, for a big part of his career? And then just in general, like what are your thoughts on the current state of the Spurs?
I mean, it's, the evolution of the game. It's just changed. I mean, Rick just spoke of that. We always wanted to play. We didn't never want to come out. And we knew we had to come out sometime, but we never wanted to sit down. I mean, we can look at it in a couple of ways. I'm a fan, and I saved up all my money to, wait till you come to this city and play, and then you sit down because they say you tired. you know, for me as a fan, I'm disappointed. You know, so I never agreed with the load management. Ain't nothing I can do about it. I mean, I could talk about it, but this is the evolution of the game. The game have changed since we played. I mean, whether we want to, you know, like it or not. And, you know, people always say, do you wish you were playing now? I mean, why? I mean, I had my turn. I mean, and most people only say that because of the money. You wish you could I mean, you know, obviously I wish I could. I mean, how much money do you think you could have made if you were playing now?
Don't want to think about it, get depressed.
I mean, why would I put myself in a position to where it can't happen?
Yeah.
Right. You don't worry about stuff.
And nothing can. I mean, so I don't even put myself in. I say, man, what kind of question is that, man? You know, but in reality and stuff, this is how they design this thing to play. See, now they back themselves in a corner. See, now the commissioner got to find ways to say, well, you know, guys got to play this many games. You know, so it became an issue.
Yep.
Ain't too much he can do about it.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing they did, and I think I always said when they started to do that, I said, well, there's no way that any player, unless he's injured, should ever do a load management game on the road.
Yeah.
That's just not right, especially if you're going, your Western Conference team, you go one time to the Eastern Conference, and you're not going to play because of load management. There's no way that should be allowed.
Right.
Who do you think started that? You got the uniform on.
Load management?
Got the uniform on.
You started in
Hawaii?
Well, who did I play for?
San Antonio Spurs?
Do your history.
Oh, Greg Popovich?
Do your history.
Oh, I thought you said you. I was like, wait, huh?
Do your history.
Yep. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
And it was the Miami.
Yeah, that too.
So, but, you know, again, what's most important? Playoff.
Yep.
So
That's what they're trying to optimize.
I already know I don't want him to get hurt.
Yep.
So then again, it's a new era.
And so much more money involved.
And fan-wise, they got bodyguards. Me and Rick walk up to anybody.
Rick was telling me last week he would pull up to the arena 40 minutes before tip-off.
I mean, come on, man. I mean,
and still give him 50.
It's different, man. I mean, but again, that's the involvement of the the game, man. We're a part of the foundation of what this game is. They can't take that from us. Yep. You know, these guys today, you know, like I talk about, you don't talk about Spencer enough. You don't talk about Oscar Robertson enough. Because with these guys, without the sacrifice that they made, these guys may not have this opportunity to make the money that they did. Because them guys, man.
Well, let's not forget the guy that actually challenged the reserve clause.
Bottom line. You know, I mean, so if you don't talk about them,
there is no modern NBA.
But who want to talk about them?
Do you feel like do you feel like your generation is appreciated enough in today's game?
Well, I mean, you know, life ain't fair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, just think about the ones that just didn't have a chance to play and could play. You know, I mean, so, you know, life ain't fair and stuff. That's why you got to be confident in yourself and what you gave to the game, you know, and then can't nobody take that from
George,
you.
the one thing you did that I respected so much, and guys like Kobe and whatever, is when you put your uniform on, the fans got everything you had every
100%
time.
Right. 100% right, man. And y'all looking at a new era of basketball. You know what I call it? A new form of the Globetrotters.
Oh.
Entertainment.
But that's what's happened for All-Star.
Wow.
It's not an All-Star game anymore. It's entertainment.
It's all entertainment. I mean, but that's what sells.
So speaking of the All-Star game, you know, there's, you know, Adam Silver, he's trying to figure out like the new format because he feels like players aren't as competitive as they were back then. Why do you think that is?
Oh, you know what it is. You know, gotta make some money. I tell you, I give you a good, I think a good scenario to make them play hard.
What's that?
Have Americans play against the Europeans.
Oh,
I like
Interesting.
it.
That'd be interesting.
Make it international.
See, because when we played,
Yeah.
George,
Yeah.
when we
Because
played,
they don't want you to beat them.
Right.
Yeah.
Vice versa.
Well, that's
Right.
the thing is the pride in it. I mean, plus in our case, I mean, what you got for winning the All-Star game was about the first year I played was like a fifth of my salary. I mean, nowadays
Really?
they get more money from the All-Star game playing than I made in my first year playing.
Yeah.
Right.
See,
Just for the
money ain't
All-Star
gonna be
game.
the issue.
No,
They
it's
make
not
too
money.
much.
It's
Yeah.
not money. It's pride.
pride.
We
There
wanted to
you go.
show that we could
There you
beat the
go.
best of the Western of
Right.
Eastern Conference.
There you
And-
go.
And this is I like your thing there. Let's go. Let's do an All-Star game, and we'll have it. And you have the foreign players against the top
you
foreign
go.
players against the top American
It
players.
works automatically. Now, how nobody come up with that yet?
Well, but are the guys really going to go out and do that? I would. I mean,
Ain't nothing else work, Rick.
I don't
Ain't
see
nothing
it.
in the last
Nothing. It's a joke.
10
now.
years worked. They done try to pick guys in like street ball. Man, none of that work. Now, put some pride on. Because think about it. The world now is saying that the Europeans is catching up with the Americans.
Well, they have.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, well.
Not
then
as many.
Let's have an all-star game and let's see.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
And then, give me my residual.
Yeah, there you go. You gotta get your percentage.
I call that the George
gotta get
Gervin
your
clause.
percentage.
Hey, don't hold your breath waiting for that. I'd like to have a nickel for everybody with their contracts that they did for being able to go ahead and let a guy move teams back in my day. Anyways,
Oh, that's funny.
that's some
man,
good stuff.
but,
Yeah. No, I like that idea a lot, George.
Yeah.
I do. I think that would be fun. It would be.
It will.
Yeah, it would.
I think, I think it'll sell out, and I think people will appreciate it again. Because you think we getting killed as far as fan appreciation with the All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
We getting killed. You know what I mean? So we got to do something about it. Common sense.
Yeah.
But common sense ain't common.
Hey, it's not common. It's
Y'all know
really
common
not.
sense ain't
It's
common
not
no
common.
more. Hey, and, look where they at. And they can't think of something like that.
George,
Yep.
I have an actual ticket from the '67 All-Star game at the Cow Palace that I played in. $5.
Wow.
$5.
Wow. I got some tickets for the Spurs. $2.
Wow.
We're paying hundreds of thousands of the cheapest seat in all today is like thousands of dollars for All-Star Weekend.
Well, you hear what happened with the Caitlin Clark thing, right? How much money the difference was and they're selling out arenas that they had never sold out before and doing it. I mean, God, she's been unbelievable for women's basketball.
Hey, man,
I know it because my
me
wife
too.
ran women's basketball for the United States for 12 years. And so I understand that. I think it's reprehensible
Yeah.
what they're allowing some of these players to. Anybody that does something flagrant to this young lady for what she's brought to the game should be suspended and fined big time for doing that.
See, man, think about it, y'all. I mean, we're dealing with imperfect people. I mean, and, when you look at it, they don't know the value that she's bringing for all of them.
That's right.
She bringing, they flying private planes now. They weren't flying private before she came.
Right.
They on major networks now. They weren't doing that. See, she remind me of Tiger Woods for golf.
Yes.
Yep.
He changed the paycheck.
Yep.
They ain't common sense again.
Like Bird and Magic did that in the NBA.
100%.
Yeah.
Common sense again.
Yep.
So if I don't know until I know, so why ain't somebody, unions, making this an issue for these girls to say like, man, we need another Caitlin Clark if we're going to be able to get all these benefits because they didn't have it before she got into the league.
They start packing in and getting those kinds of things, getting the TV deals. Then the money is there to raise the entire salary because they get sharing in the revenue. I mean, come on, what she's doing, she's helping every one of you.
Everybody. As good as the Aces is,
They're
they
fun.
still couldn't bring what she's bringing to the game.
No.
And
Rising-
they've been winning. They won 2 in a row.
I know.
Becky, pretty good coach,
She is.
but she got a good player too.
Yeah,
I've been to one of those
thank
Aces
you.
games. Those are fun.
I can tell you what. Here's the thing I've always felt: coaches get too much credit at times, and they certainly get too much blame at times. You don't win without the players.
100% right. The fun part about it is when you got a good coach, you want to win for him.
Hmm.
I love Doug Moe. Doug Moe is a fun coach.
Oh, he's a
man.
funny guy too.
Oh man, what a fun guy,
I was
man.
a teammate of mine. I could tell you stories about
Oh,
Doug Moe. Doug Moe and Larry Brown. It's like Laurel and Hardy. I mean, it was unbelievable.
I give you a good example. When I won my first scoring title, Doug was coaching me, and Larry was coaching David Thompson.
Right. And you had that battle at the
And
end
we
of the
had the
season.
battle. Lauren Hardy.
I know, but here's the thing. David went out and got 70-something. George, I don't know if people know the story. George went out and got 63, but he hardly played in the third quarter and didn't play the whole fourth quarter because somebody figured out he had enough points to win, and it was the closest margin ever. It was like
the percentage
20.25. No, it was less. It was less than a point.
Yeah,
it was
less than a point.
It was crazy.
Because all I needed was 59.
Yeah,
you got 63.
I got 63. But I got it in 33 minutes. That was
oh my God,
significant. But I couldn't have done it without my teammates. My teammates set it up for me. See, to me, the game is designed to play one way. I don't care if we're playing 3-on-3, 5-on-5. It's as a team. That's where you get your victories. I mean, that's why we could never beat the Lakers. They had talent and they played well together. So for me to get that 59 and get my first scoring title, I give all my credit to my teammates, because I couldn't have done it.
So you said your first scoring title.
Yeah,
your
you won a bunch.
First of four. The only players that have ever won more than you are Michael Jordan and Wilt Chamberlain.
Well, yeah. Well, I won it one year only because Wilt decided he didn't want it.
So let's talk about your ability to score the basketball and your patented finger roll. When did you start that move? Who taught you that move? Was it like Kyrie? You just, from the moment you could pick up a ball, you were practicing that?
Man, when you think about it, man, I'm a historian, so I watch the game, and, you can learn from it. I am not the inventor of it. Wilt had his own version of the dip. Connie had his own version, and Doc. So I kind of looked at them guys, and I developed my own, style of doing it. So
pretty effective.
There was only one difference between you and Wilt. Wilt was dropping it down into the basket.
That's what we call, he was dipping. Wilt was dipping.
That's right. Above the rim.
But it was still the version.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I kind of emulated them guys, man. And, man, I never get it, man. When we became the 50 graders and we was in Cleveland, and I was sitting at the table with Wilt, Connie, Doc, and I think George Mikan was there. And Wilt said, Ice, man, you stole my finger roll. I said, well, I ain't steal your finger roll. And then Connie said, man, well, I was one of his favorites. And then Doc said, well, I was the team, man. I said, hey, fellas, man, look, man. I took a piece from each one of y'all and just made it famous.
Enough credit to go around. I mean, I was going back and I was watching highlights of you on the plane ride, and it's like anywhere from within 10 feet, it was going in. It was automatic. And I just don't know how you have that kind of touch around the basket. It's just unbelievable.
I mean, some went in, some didn't, but just to have the ability to do it, man.
Yeah, but George, let me get you. Every time you did it, you thought you were making it. There isn't one you ever took that you didn't think you were making. Come on, be honest.
No, I used to love to roll it over somebody and thought they was blocking it.
Who are your favorite players to play against or compete against?
Oh, back then, Doc. I didn't get a chance to play against Rick. Rick was about done when I
was still with the I was still with the Warriors there when but like I say, I watched
when you retired.
Cheering you. 80.
Yeah, you see, you played a couple of years against Rick, and man, I had a bunch of them, man. I mean, I was just David Thompson.
But we didn't guard each other because you were a guard.
Right.
You were a guard. I was a forward.
English. I mean, you could think of Kiki Vandeweghe, man. Alex English, man, one of the guys, another guy that don't get talked about enough, man.
Yeah, he's a hell of a player, too.
Now, you look at history and you start looking at 2,000 points a season. He might have 8 of them in a row. Then you look at the history and see how many guys have that many points. So, and he don't get talked about as one of the greatest scorers of all time. I mean, so when we get on these kind of platforms, I like to bring that up to the fan base, man, because, these are true legends, man, that played this game and is pretty much getting ignored. And nobody ever like to be forgotten for what they accomplished, in something as great as the NBA was. So, so quite a few of them guys, man. I played against Jordan McGinnis. I mean, Roger Brown.
Another great player.
Freddie Lewis, man. Artists. I mean, it's so many great ones.
Do me a favor. Tell the people a little bit. I told people I had never seen anybody blocking somebody's jumpers from the baseline that the artist was doing.
Man,
They had never seen this. People remember him with the Bulls and when he was big and stuff. This guy was so athletic. I mean, I have a picture. I can bring it up. I have it on my phone right here. I can bring it up. It's a picture of me going up the middle and throwing a floater up. And the picture's from behind the backboard. In fact, I'll give it to you guys to stick it up there so you can show this. And here's artists up there cupping my shot, and I'm looking up like this. And if you had one of those things where you got something coming out in a circle and you put something in there, my thing was you got to be shitting. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, no,
I mean, come on. When he first came in,
right, man. I mean, Larry Keenan. Another one got average double-double. Larry Keenan averaged double-double before, with the Spurs before Timmy and David Robertson. And that's another one don't get enough credit. So, it's quite a few guys, man, that played, man. I just seen a video of World Be Free.
World Be Free.
Shooting that jumper. You know what I mean? And, he was battling for the scoring title, throughout the years and stuff, man. Adrian Dantley being, 6'5"?
Inside guy, yeah. Well, he and Charles Barkley are two guys that were pretty amazing at what they did for their size and where they played. Because they were inside guys.
Yes.
And both of them are very small. Like Charles is not very big.
Right.
Yeah.
Seriously, I call those guys anomalies.
Yeah. Hey, John Drew.
Yeah, another one.
John Drew was probably one of the best offensive rebounders, man, I didn't seen in the game, man, where he shoot it and go back and get it. Then, talk about Moses, man. It's so many guys, man, that they just don't talk about. But, again, they got to sell what they got now.
Right.
In order to make it work, man.
But they got some special guys.
Man.
I mean, these guys do stuff that I used to fantasize about.
No,
doing.
I agree. We do. We got some talent in the league.
John Moran.
Oh.
Sick.
No, I see some of these guys jumping, and they jumping off of two legs. Like springs.
Yeah.
So it's really something special to see. But again, we just seeing the evolution, of the game.
So let me ask you another one. And I get this is another one that drives me nuts when there's somebody goes, well, Rick, you guys couldn't play with these guys today. So how good do you think you would have been if you had a strength coach, an agility coach, a dietitian, travel in chartered planes, didn't have to go play 4 games in 5 nights in 4 different cities, all of the stuff that we went through when we played with, how much better would you have been?
No, we stayed at Motel 6s.
Almost.
Don't forget the $8 a day for him.
You mean
right? 100% right.
You've been faster, stronger, quicker, more endurance. I mean, it'd been a joke how much better. Because we had nothing.
Yeah. But
Zero.
I mean, that's, again, it's the evolution. It's like anything else, man. We can go all the way back from the caveman, that lit fire with a rock. Now we got a lighter. You know what I'm saying? It's the evolution
you guys
of life.
Paved the way, yeah.
I mean, so the greatest gift they gave me from the NBA was our health insurance.
We fought hard for that, George. I was on the board for doing this. 6 years we fought, but also our pension.
And the greatest gift.
We fought for 6 years to get the pension to be fully funded. You can't even get a pension like we have now anymore. They don't even offer them anymore. And that same thing with the other thing was the health insurance. As to why can't we cover it when we're done playing? And they've done that. So that was that's the
greatest for me. Mm-hmm. And you can keep your money. I'm old now. If I ain't got this health insurance, I'll spend the money I got anyway.
Right.
Because America got the worst insurance in the world. I mean, there's so many people that is hurting. I mean, and older people, man, have to buy medication and stuff, and it's killing them.
Well, so let's stop giving away billions of dollars overseas to countries and help care of our people here. Anyway, don't get me into politics. That's not the show.
That's a reality.
I
mean, and I'm not big in that aspect of the world anyway. I mean, you vote and you do all that, and it never works out. So I wish now, with this new collective bargain, that the NBA now give us long-term care.
Is that one of the things on the table?
That's what I heard. That may be on the table now. You know what I mean? Because, now you need long-term. I mean, the guys that built this league is older now.
Yeah.
You know, so some got pensions and some not, but we all getting old. Organs and all that are failing us. And if we have an opportunity to have long-term health, oh, I think that would be one of the greatest things that another.
They have
thing
enough
can
money
give
to
us.
do it, don't they?
Oh, they can do all they want. They can have all the money they want. We dying. We losing guys every day.
Just lost a bunch this last month.
You know, I mean, so what can benefit us the most then? Long-term health, you know. I mean, you create a long-term plan where, you know, people can have aftercare, you know. So that's kind of like, you have all your money. Man, I don't care about no money. I mean, you know, that I'm all right now. A lot of guys not, you know, but I know I'm getting older, you know, and it's just common sense, you know. No, I mean, we're the foundation. Whether they want to accept it or not, we are the foundation of this league.
100%.
You know, I mean, they couldn't have done it without us.
Nope.
You know, now they ain't told me thank you. I don't care. I know it, you know. And so when you have that kind of confidence about something,
That's peace.
yeah.
That's real
There
peace.
you go.
That's real
There's
peace.
peace of mind about that, and your family be taken care of as well. Let's talk a little bit about Cube and what he's made available for so many guys. And I know how I feel. I mean, just to be able to come and get to, see you, and I see Gary Payton, I see Doc and whatever, to get together on the weekends during the summer. It's really special. Now, I don't like the losing and not having been in the playoffs as a Bullhawks coach, but it is what it is. But it's still kind of great to be able to have that opportunity. How do you feel about it?
I feel the same way, man. I think, Cube really created something special. You know, to be able to have this kind of vision, to create this big three, and to give some of these guys another platform to play basketball, make some money, and still travel around, the country. And some of them have taken advantage of this opportunity and kept their career going overseas. You know, so I'm proud of Cube and Jeff, for making this a reality. I remember when he first started, I was just coming out of the workout, and he called me and said, "Hey, son, I'm going to start this league, and I want you to be part of it." And I said, "Cube, okay." Now, he says, "Big three." I said, "Okay." He said, "Hey, I'll take care of you." And he never let me down.
Wow.
You know, I mean, so I'm proud to be a part of the beginning, and I see where it's going, and it can really go somewhere special. And
right now, big time.
It can really go somewhere special.
A lot of big, exciting stuff going on right now.
So Cube, I applaud you and Jeff, and I just wish that some of the guys that have this opportunity will take advantage of it and appreciate it more.
And we appreciate what you're doing, because I think our team, I know your Ghostbusters team, and we'll be playing you guys.
Ghostbusters?
Yeah, that's all right. Rick didn't beat me so much, he called me Ghostbusters.
Well, I mean, come on. I mean, the Ghost Ballers, but I'm telling Ghostbusters. That's what I like. I know. That's what I call them, the Ghostbusters. So we're playing against you guys, but we have Krause House. They have done a great job. This is why we're doing the show with them. But for us, I mean, I wish all the teams would have the opportunity to have an experience like what John has done and what Christian has done, and Joy and all the people involved. It's just made it a little bit extra special, and I think that would be really good if the league had it on a team. Every team was doing more like this to get the word out there. Because I just came down in the elevator there, and somebody said, "Well, what is this big three thing?"
Yeah.
Okay, and so it needs to be publicized better. It needs to be promoted better, and I think that's going to happen with what I know is taking place now and what they're trying to do. And I think perhaps going into cities and having cities with the teams. It's going to be really cool.
Yeah, no, that's good, man. I mean, and y'all giving it another platform and using tools that we got. This is a tool, and many folks will get a chance to see it. And, what we do. It's like the ABA. We didn't have a lot of sponsors. People was our word of mouth. So they say, "Man, I seen Ice play," and he lived in New York, and we played in Virginia. So that's how they sold it. But now y'all got the tools, and to be able to be creative enough to, be able to have a platform like this, I thank you also, and I'm glad y'all let me be a part of it.
Well, we appreciate you
One
doing
thing
that.
real quick, and you just alluded to it, and I'm shocked it took us this long to ask this question. The Iceman. Can you tell us where you got that nickname?
I'm from Detroit, and I had my own style. If you ever been in Detroit, I grew up in the inner city, and if you know anything about the inner city, it was a certain style.
Mm-hmm.
I wore gaiters. I wore
Oh,
suits.
shoot.
I wore Borsalini.
You was sharp.
You
was sharp.
But, that was my environment.
Yeah.
I was raised by a single parent. So my influence was the streets.
Mm.
I didn't have a dad, so I wasn't influenced, by fatherhood. I was more influenced by what I saw, and I kind of carried that with me wherever I went, So when I went to Virginia, I signed that contract, I got sharper. And the first thing I bought was an Eldorado Cadillac.
Oh,
There you go.
Wow.
Triple black, drop top.
Speaking of that, George, seriously, because of your background and where you came from, was there one person in particular that you think really helped you to not go down what could have easily been a different path?
Mom. My mom, y'all. My mom was so special, man. My mom, she worked 2 jobs. There was 6 of us. She raised 6 of us. And, and we all wanted to stop going to school and work for her. And she always told us, she wanted us to get our education because she knew that was our way out, And I think without them values she gave us, my mom gave us morals. She gave us values and principles, man, and that's what we live by today. My mom used to always say, "Just treat people like you want to be treated," and that's what I live by today, man. So you're 100%, Rick. Rick. Without Mom, I don't think that I would be the man that I am today. And I love her to death. She's no longer here, but in my faith, I'll see her again.
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's awesome. That's good. I think that's a good place to end this, and it's a
think
good.
so.
I think it's a good message. Is that you need to find somebody. That's why I love these mentoring programs to take it. Bill Russell, who I got to be really good friends with after our careers, and we broadcast and stuff together. He was doing a lot of things for a mentoring
I went
program.
to a couple of mentoring.
Thank you. Golf tournaments. Some of the golf tournaments are
Yeah.
raising money for that, and so it's really great to be able to do that. And that's why I'm so proud of so many of the NBA players. When these guys have made these crazy amounts of money. And again, you don't hear a lot about it.
Yeah.
You're one of them, George.
Yeah.
You have a foundation. You've done stuff for so many young people that you have helped. I can't even imagine the pride that you have and the good feeling you have when you see these young people that you've changed their lives and maybe even saved some of their lives. So what was that like for you, and why did you start it?
Because, I was one of them. I was one of these young kids. I got 2 charter schools. A George Gervin Academy and a George Gervin Preparatory, one in Phoenix and one in San Antonio I had for 30 years. And I wasn't real good in education. Basketball got me through. But I know a lot of kids want to do what I did as far as play ball, but that's plan A. I wanted to help them create a plan B. Mm-hmm. And that's the education. I always say, look, you're going to do your education 2 ways. You're going to do a 1 to 12 in an educational facility, or you're going to do a 1 to 12 in a correctional facility.
Yeah, there you go.
That's just the way it goes, man. So I was able to promote that. And like Rick says, man, I got a lot of programs in San Antonio. You could pull it up to George Gervin Youth Center, and you can see a lot of the things that we do in San Antonio. And
Amazing.
I'm real proud of it.
That's awesome. Well, I hope
Yeah,
to.
God bless you for that, George. What you've done is awesome. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks.
Yeah, thanks,
Appreciate
Rick.
it.
Anytime,
Thanks for
buddy.
stopping
Great
by.
guest.
Appreciate
Great
it.
guest.
Thank you.
All right, and the next
our
version,
pleasure.
when's the next version of the Pig Pen? Oh,
Players Club presented by the Pig Pen. We'll be coming to you guys next week in New Jersey. But this was great. Thank you, George. And all right, guys.